Howdy mates, here's a part 2 film over at the Hovenweep National Monument. I just knew that keeping this into one video was going to be rather difficult, so I thought it was best to turn it into another separate one. So continuing off of my last point, so just over a century ago, this became a dedicated national monument which preserves a piece of that Pueblo and Paiute culture. According to anthropological history, there's no clear defined reason as to why the ancestors of the Pueblo left this area, but there can be some probable causes for it. Given that this is in a semi-arid climate, for the most part, there are indeed periods of drought that have occurred, that can occur, and have. And you have to figure the Pueblo people who were residing in this area, they were consistently hunting, and for another, that food source would eventually run out from wildlife. Because, of course, the wildlife are going to try to keep moving on past where their populations are dropping. And drought is could have been another large factor in them moving, just because if there's periods of excessive drought, they have no accessibility to perform agriculture, which they mostly would have grown corn. I don't remember eating no corn. Beans and squash. There's a reference from my good old pops there. And those three particular crops that I'm pointing out, those are also known as the Three Sisters, because all three of them often work very hand in hand with each other. And they were aware of that. And as a matter of fact, if any of you have never read Braiding Sweetgrass, she even mentions, the author, she mentions that point as well. Very worth reading if you have the chance. So even though the Pueblo left this area 800 to 700 years ago, the descendants still realize the cultural significance from their ancestors. And so, to this day, this area is still protected. And even if you've watched my films before, if you go back to some of my films that I made from Mesa Verde, you would be able to tell that the structures look very similar. Well, that is indeed the truth, because they were practically the same people for the most part. All right, you guys, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. And of course, Journey on a Journey is onwards. Take care, folks. See ya.